So, they just announced and released the trailers for both Mr. Fantastic and the Invisible Woman for Season 1 for Marvel Rivals. And if you haven't seen it, I did just react to the trailer. Make sure to go check that out. The link is going to be in the comments. For now, I'm going to go ahead and react to their trailers, see if I can break down their abilities and see what they're actually going to be like. We do know ahead of time that Mr. Fantastic is going to be a duelist, and Sue Storm, Invisible Woman, is going to be a strategist. Now, I am a tank main, but I do use strategist as my backup if for whatever reason tanks got insta-locked. So I am interested to see what her strategist abilities are. But let's go ahead and get into these videos, see what we can figure out, and let's just get into it.
Now for something truly fantastic.
Okay, so he's very stretchy. So he's some sort of mid-range. Yo, okay, this Hela has to be after the nerfs because any good Hela is gonna melt this guy. Yo, he has 350 health? Why has he got so much health as a duelist? Okay, so he's not using any abilities. These are just his main attack. And notice, he doesn't have to reload. That's also important to note. It makes sense that he wouldn't have to reload because that's just his arm. But, you know, Storm's a god and has to reload her lightning / wind strike ability, so whatever. All right, so we're probably getting into abilities. He's currently wrapping up an Iron Man. I presume that might be his right-click ability. Oh, so you can. Oh, and he was able to knock them both out. So I guess that means his main attacks have splash damage, at least a little bit. Yo, motherfucker, what was that? Okay, so that's pretty wild as a duelist. He can just absorb. Okay, so first off, I'm perplexed. I did read that he could absorb damage and then return it back, but he can absorb Iron Man's ult? That's insane. Crazy. Oh, what was that? Okay, first off, that was his shift ability. Second off, and the next ability is his E. He's grappling. He big and swole right now. That's kind of crazy. That was goofy looking. He bouncy. Okay. First off, that's just goofy. I can't lie. That was goofy to watch because he just looks silly. But so he's got an ultimate very akin to the Winter Soldier. I wonder if it's got a max cap. According to the leaker, he's only able to do it 6 times in a row. It seems like that might be true because he doesn't have to wait till he kills somebody or knocks him out to be able to do it again, as opposed to Winter Soldier where you can do it, but you have to knock somebody out to re-engage it. It looks like he can just keep bouncing, which is, he's big. Okay, let's go back through it. I'm still confused by his E ability. Okay, so also according to the leaker, he has a passive, which is when you build up elasticity over time whenever you do damage, or maybe it's when you take damage and deal damage, I'm not sure, but that 15 in the center of the screen is really reminiscent of it. So is that. So I guess that's what that means is whenever you fulfill and max out your elasticity, very much like Wolverine. I keep looking at the screen. So I guess that's what that means is whenever you max out your elasticity, very akin to how Wolverine does when his gauge builds up, you become big and you do more damage. XYX Leaks also talked about that, so it's interesting to see what's confirmed and what's not. And that would explain. So let's watch this one more time. All right. So we've got a shift ability. You can absorb and then return damage, which is crazy. I don't understand the grapple ability being used on a teammate. That's a little interesting. But I saw that his thing was maxed out, and then there's also a time limit out, so that would explain that. Okay. I don't understand why he gets big whenever he grapples somebody, unless that's just what you do. Whenever you does he use his shift? Okay, so he specifically doesn't use his shift. He grapples, and then he ults. That's a pretty solid ult. Oh, also, I wasn't even paying attention. This is the Midtown map. I think. It's either that or it's either Midtown or Central Park. But considering that there's no nature, I presume that's Midtown. That was cool. That was interesting. I like his playstyle. I'm not a DPS main. I don't even really ever play DPS aside from like the 1 in 45 games that somebody insta-locks tank and support somehow. And even then, I never play tank, or I never play DPS, so I completely throw. But that's beside the point. I'll probably never play him. He does look cool. Maybe I'll play him in quick play, but I'll definitely never play him in ranked. But I like his kit. He seems cool. He's a very interesting hybrid of the mechanics that they've established with Wolverine and Winter Soldier. I started to say Hawkeye, but that's not true. He seems mid-range, seemingly, because his elastic arms definitely give him some range, so he's not a complete melee character, but he's like a mid-range melee character. It's very interesting. I'm excited to see it. I don't fully understand how his like size increase works whenever he grabs. Maybe that's just something whenever you grab, you automatically kind of increase and maybe you take less damage for just a second. I don't know. We'll have to see it once he actually gets in game. For now, let's go ahead and check out the Invisible Woman. Ignite the battle. All right. Strategist, Invisible Woman. Okay. Shields. Makes sense. Ooh, hello. Okay, all right, let's go back. Calm down, there's a lot of stuff happening very quick. Okay, so she assisted, which means, okay, so that means her main attack gives her both, that means her main attack does both healing and damage, akin to Loki and most mains, or most strategists, rather. Okay. She seemingly has some sort of double jump. What does that do? Okay. So her shift, maybe? Is that what that is? I don't understand what that did because she said force burst, and I presumed that was going to trap him in like a force cage type thing, and then he just kept running. So, left shift, force burst. Does that do extra damage? Maybe it does damage over time. Okay. Holy what was that? Okay, so she hasn't engaged any ability according to the setup. She hasn't engaged any other abilities, but nonetheless, she's invisible. I wonder if maybe that's a passive. Maybe she just turns invisible if she's not in combat. So that's her F ability, and it's... That's crazy. That's nasty. That's so disrespectful. I love it. She might be one of my new mains. Just yeeting somebody off the side of the map while they're trying to get health. Oh my god, that's diabolical. Whew, okay.
You have no clue how long I've wanted to do that before.
Okay, so that was her right click ability, which puts a shield down in front of him, but it also has the F key shown. And I don't know what that's supposed to do.
You have no clue how long I've wanted to do that before.
Yeah, holy shit, that's crazy. Okay, so that's her ult, obviously. And it appears as if what is happening is her ult automatically does some really gnarly healing, turns allies invisible. Does it turn enemies invisible as well? Yeah, I think it does. Yep, because that was their Thor who just died. Disappear. You see them go invisible. And then you see the Thor drop whenever, or you see him gone whenever he turns invisible. Is there stuff? I can't tell if the incoming projectiles simply cannot penetrate that barrier, or if that's just a visual thing of you can't see inside of this. So I'm not quite sure about that yet. Oh, but they are messing them up from invisibility. Oh my god. So she's got some cool abilities. I really like her kit. I'm really digging her kit a lot.